Hey y'all, Be Righteous here from another State of the Game recap. This is a follow-up to last week's crazy news. This episode, they'll be discussing the brand new skill tier system, stash space, and stat storing amongst other topics. The priority alert was very brief about some bug in the DZ, and that's it. They got right into it. Frederick returns to the episode along with Bruce Kelly, the dev that deals mainly with some RPG aspects of the game. After giving a brief recap of last week's State of the Game, they went straight into the good stuff. The first issue that was discussed was something reiterated about the oversimplification. Frederick said that there are a lot more combinations because these talents are being allocated to chest piece and backpack. Also, with the combination of exotics and gear sets make for a more diverse build system. Good point. The recalibration was touched on next and how you have to just keep everything just to hope for adding it to a particular build or playstyle in the future. Essentially, it's a mess. So how they changed it was something similar to how they did weapon mods when Division 2 came out as opposed to Division 1. Before on Div 1 you had to just find every single mod and some will be higher than others, but on Div 2 every mod, once you found that mod, then you would always have that mod forever. So that's how they're doing the stats. Now once you find a stat like headshot on some gear or something, you'll be able to extract that stat and it'll always be available for you for recalibration. This eliminates part of the huge problem we have with stash space. We won't have to keep so much gear, and this is a huge step in the right direction. They talked briefly about brand sets and how going forward they will be changed to fit, different play types. They didn't really go into detail about that. I think they're, still working on a lot of brand set changes, so they're not ready to release any of that information. So that's all they said about that. Here are some screenshots of weapons and gear which display the new system. It's still a work in progress, but it gives us an idea of how to extract stats. Once it's extracted, then like now, the gear piece is destroyed and the stat is saved forever. So this means we can finally extract those god roll stats we've been holding on forever, and it's going to open up so much more stash space. I really like this, to be honest. There's still only one recal per piece because we don't want them to make it too easy. This also won't affect crafting in any way. It's pretty much the same as how it is now. Now, onto the skill tiers, which is what I was personally waiting for. Skill power is now called skill tier. This picture right here shows how it all works. This one yellow bar means that you're wearing one piece of yellow gear, meaning skill tier 1. It goes all the way to 6, and if you want to wear that many yellows, then your skills will be the strongest. Pretty straightforward. Like I said before, what you build for is what you are. Here, it's showing you the effects of your skills based on your tier. Like right here, the chem launcher is obviously stronger in tier 2. They also said that possibly at skill tier 4 to 5 and above, your skill will reap certain benefits like more range. If you notice in this picture, the flame turret for a lower skill tier has a smaller radius than the one with the higher skill tier. So essentially, it gives you a bonus for speccing more into skill tier. Tell me what you think about this change in particular. I personally love it. Skill mods were discussed and they said it would be similar to the weapon mods, but they won't affect the functionality of the skill as much as skill tier. The mods are just there to assist a little bit. Not like how they are now, because right now they're king. I mean, whatever mod you put in, depending on your skill power, that's what determines the damage and the range or whatever. They touched even more on the skill tiers and stated that when reaching a certain level of skill, possibly 4 to 5 and above, Frederick said, and I quote, your skills will go nuts. Something called overcharge happens, and it's where every attribute of that particular skill you're using is buffed, but only temporarily. Here's a new talent called Energize that'll give you +1 skill tier for 15 seconds after using an armor kit. So let's say you're already in skill tier 6, it'll send you into overcharge if you use armor kit. He also said that there are other items that will send you into overcharge without even having a high skill tier. Bruce said it might be an exotic coming out. They didn't really go into detail on it, but whatever it is, this is what's going to send you into an overcharge if you don't even have enough yellows. And they said some skills and some gear will send your whole team into overcharge for a few seconds. Look at this video. Here's an example of the flame turret. Seems like they changed the functionality a little bit, which is good. I still think it should go back to how it was in Div 1, but this at least looks better. It's almost a 360 spin and it spins real fast. And this is how it looks in overcharge, so that's possibly why it's spinning so fast. But this looks like great crowd control. Repair drones go crazy with hills. The ballistic shield is basically invulnerable temporarily. This overcharge seems really cool. One change I wanted to talk about was skill damage. And this is very important. There's no more specific skill damages like burn damage, explosive damage, but instead just skill damage. So this means it would be more balanced, and one particular skill won't necessarily be prioritized over another, only in preference. As you can see, the whole system has changed. Look at these mods. They're significantly changed, but remember, this is still a work in progress, but you get the idea. And no more battery mods, they'll be gone completely. Once again, they're going back to the roots. Here's another few interviews of two devs, Trick Dempsey again going over control points, and Nick Copence talking about caches and named items in the DZ.
So who are you and what do you do here?
I'm Trick Dempsey. I'm a senior game designer on The Division 2. I mostly work in the open world and invasions and generally end-game content. So the thing that you do after you've beaten the campaign and after you've completed the first invasion, although technically I guess that's also mine. But generally all of that stuff.
Perfect. So the question we've got today is regarding control points, and in particular, why do some activities disappear when you're in the process of leveling up a control point?
So anytime any activity starts, the control point says, oh, I will be satisfied that this activity is complete after a certain amount of time. Generally, those are not the longest amount of time, so that's 5-10 minutes. But once that timer is exhausted, it says, we've done the job now. As long as they have not entered combat, which will halt the timer, but also entering combat the moment all hostiles are clear, they are satisfied that they've completed their jobs. And that means that they've finished gathering their resources, murdering a bunch of civilians, satisfied that they've just secured an area completely. And generally, if you see those activities disappear off the map, it is because you are a failure. You have failed the people of DC, and you should have known that you could not save everyone.
My name is Nicky Kuppens, and I'm a senior game designer on the economy and progression team for the Division 2.
So we have a question regarding Dark Zone caches in particular, and the question is, can we get named items like weapons and gear from those Dark Zone caches?
Yeah, for sure. You can get the specific ones that are made for or to come only from the Dark Zone, and also some that are both from the open world outside of the Dark Zone and the Dark Zone. So that's an overlapping pool, and there's the Dark Zone specific pool, and you can get either of those weapons and gear pieces from the field proficiency caches. So you have each field proficiency cache gives you one weapon that can be a named weapon, and then one gear piece that can be a named gear piece, and that's the same for the non-Dark Zone field proficiency cache. But those are of course from a different pool, because there you can get the non-Dark Zone specific ones as well.
So another question to throw on top of that, to surprise you, can both of the items within those caches be named?
If you're very lucky, yeah, they can be. They roll independently, so you can get a named weapon and a named gear piece at the same time. And for the non-Dark Zone field proficiency cache, you actually have the bonus item as well. That can also be a named item.
So if you're super lucky, you could get 3.
Yes, if that happens, send me a screenshot.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect, thank you.
This episode was primarily about the new skill tier system and how it works, also stash space and the ability to extract stats to make more of an efficient stash functionality. Both topics were very positive and great for this game's future. If you agree or disagree, let me know how you feel down in the comments about these changes. The devs did say they'll discuss changes to the DZ in upcoming streams. At the end of the day, Frederick said all of what they discuss with talents and gear really dictates how combat plays out, and that's how it'll be going forward. Oh yeah, and I remember Frederick tweeted something about the movement, and a lot of you were worried about it. I was especially worried about it. I didn't want them to change anything and control you so much. But this is not really much to worry about. Essentially, that was about something currently in the game already, and they were just talking about it. But as far as some changes they did make was to skill deployment speed, which will increase the efficiency of how you deploy skills and the speed of it, making for more of a polished experience. That's pretty much it for the state of the game, and once again, the devs did not disappoint. I am even more excited about these changes because they're definitely needed. If you enjoyed this video and found it informative, then please drop a like and hit that subscribe button for more content like this. Until then, I'll see you in the next one. Be right out.